2020, arguably one of the best years to come out of this decade, and what I'd say the best thing to come out from that year wasn't the days spent not at school or the peaceful times in the outside world. No, it was Genshin Impact, one of the greatest things to ever exist on this planet. Up there was sliced bread. And today, I'd like to give my experience with this game over the past 4 years, and with the release of Skirk around the corner, I thought this was the best time to tell you my experience. Before we jump into this, let's answer the obvious thing though. Is this game a 10 out of 10? Nah. Now, before we jump in, I'd like to say a few things. First of all, I did not play the game constantly throughout the years. Like a toxic relationship, I took a lot of breaks. Mainly because it was really boring to play. So before you go type about how I skipped this or that, that's cause this or that was lame as fuck. And I wish I could go back and play those parts again to change my opinion on them. But no, cause Hoyoverse is a dumbass company who only cares about robbing me. Like, they aren't even giving you enough pulls to get one 5-star character anymore. And anyone who's going to disagree, please allow me to show you this. Second of all, I do not play this game anymore. I know, you can save your cheers until the end, but yeah, it's true. I am sober for about 5 months now, which means anything after 5.3, I have no fucking clue what happens. But anyway, huge shout out to Natlan, the nation of ass, and the straw that broke the camel's back. Anyway, now with that out of the way, let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, I don't know what your reason for downloading this game is. Maybe you were curious, or maybe you thought fictional women would satisfy your loneliness. I don't know. Whatever it is, I ain't judging. For me, however, it was because me and my friends saw that we can play together, and we all thought, this is perfect. Another game that can satisfy our League addiction. What we didn't realize was this feature was only available after you reach Adventure Rank 16, or AR16 for short. Signs were already there and we straight up ignored them. Anyway, we pushed ourselves to try and get that co-op feature, and we only got to AR10 before calling it quit. Yep, my friends had decided to ditch the game pretty fast because it was so boring for them. Clearly, they saw what I was too blind to see myself at the time, but for curiosity's sake, I kept playing alone. And during this time, I looked up online what people thought of this game, and two things that I vividly remember: people trying to get to an island not visible on the map, and people baiting their friends into being gay for Venti. Anyway, this game starts off in a place called Not Hyrule. Trust me, it only gets worse from here, and in which you meet future Rule 34 characters. Now, I wish I can say anything else about these characters, but I just remember jack shit about them, except Bear and Bunny. Anyway, Genshin Impact. Dragons, the ability to fly. Surely these features will be present a lot in the game. I wish I can say the gameplay for this game was fun, but I'd be half lying with that. They are fun to play with, don't get me wrong, for the first few hundred times. After that, it's just the same thing over and over. And I wish that it gets better, but my days of inhaling copium and bending over for Dawei are over. So then that leaves us with the story. Moving on. Now, you may have noticed Tier 2 doesn't exist, and that's because I just didn't want to play it. Well, that's not entirely true. I did play at the end of the year, but it was like at the very end, so it doesn't count. But one thing I glossed over was the fact that this is a gacha game, and that you can get characters in this game. I just like to say, I did get 3 5-stars at this time, 2 of which I didn't even know were dog shit. But hey, I was new to the game, I didn't even care. What I did care about, however, was wondering, will my fingers get a break? Because oh my god, I swear, if there was a fingering contest, Hoyo players would come first. So many people have complained about the game not having a skip feature added into the game, and what was Hoyo's response to this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The story did get an improvement during the Sumeru arc. I put quotation marks on that because the game really dropped the ball for me during the second half of it. Now, I wish I could add more to this section. The game really didn't have much for me to talk about at this time, so let's just move on to the next section. The year when Fontaine was released, everyone said Genshin is back to its prime, and for me, I gotta say, I didn't like it. Yeah, the era in which everyone was praising Genshin, I simply found it the most boring. The region, mid. The characters, partially mid. The story, oh boy. Now, I'm not saying the story was entirely bad. The last part of the Archon quest was probably the best Genshin had ever been, but by the time that part of the story came around, I was half asleep already. Like, the arcs of this game have always been long, but man, this arc has been the most obvious. I'm just saying, I'm usually fine with not liking some parts of the game, as long as it's still overall enjoyable. But man, this was truly testing my patience. But hey, anything for those 5 primal gems, am I right, Genshin fans? Also, I would like to add that Genshin likes to do this thing where they'll have the major story happening within the first few patches of each version, and then the rest of the patches being filler patches. And if I had to add my 2 cents in this endless barrel of problems, let's just not do this, okay? Like, this is one of the main reasons for me taking breaks as well. The game is already on life support during the major patches because of decent story, but like, once that's gone, what then? Mint picking? Hell no! I am not wasting my time trying to be praised around here. Anyway, rant over. Let's just go into the final section. So, here we are, guys. Modern day Genshin Impact. Surely the game has improved tremendously throughout the years, right? Wrong! This game has somehow gotten worse throughout its time alive. Even Natline couldn't save it. Hell, it even got me to stop playing it. But how was it during my time playing it? I mean, it couldn't have been that bad. Well, you'd be correct. It was worse. So, a bit of context during this time. A lot of VAs went on strike because they wanted fair treatment, to have their voices not be used for AI, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was a whole lie. But that's a whole topic in on itself. Anyway, because of this, most of the voices in the game just suddenly disappeared. So, when you expect someone to reply to something, you get this.
I don't remember doing anything worth getting invited. It's just another noisy room of people. Not my scene. You think someone from the Temple of Silence would know when to stop talking?
Yeah, my immersion of this game is really breaking with this one. And not only was that an issue, a lot of people were really let down when the Nation of War just turned out to be a Pokemon ripoff. But hey, Capitano, a well-anticipated and fan-favorite character, was here, and man, was he awesome. I hope we get to play as him.
The captain, he...
The curse of immortality still exists. Does that mean the captain will never move from this place?
So, let's just reiterate what has been mentioned. In this version, we have had missing voices for multiple characters, immersion breaking things added to the game, expectations not met, and the only character people were still playing this game for, dead. Yep, 10 out of 10 game, Hoyo. Take my money, you son of a bitch. So, that's my experience with this game. It was definitely experience if I would say so myself. So, would I suggest playing this game? No. Absolutely not. This game is not worth the many hours poured into it and is very lackluster. Like, there are so many things I left out, like how grinding in this game is tedious because they give you scraps to work with, or how there isn't many ways to travel, and the faster ways are region locked. Like, we're 5 years into this. Get your shit together and lock the fuck in. But hey, that's just my experience. Anyway, if you liked what you saw today, maybe consider liking, commenting, and subbing to the channel to catch more stuff like these. I plan on releasing a video on Hoyo's next biggest scam, Honkai Star Rail, and if you want to see what game I'll be covering next, why not follow my Twitter or Twitch or Kick, I don't know, whichever platform doesn't support terrorism. I plan to post and go live eventually, but hopefully soon. Anyway, that's all from me. Hope you have a wonderful day, night, and evening, and I'll see you next time. Peace.